plaintiff, Brandy Siggers, is a music artist who goes by the name Yella Yella, and the defendant hired her to perform at his party. However, she had no idea it was a swingers party, and the guests would be wearing nothing but a COVID mask. She's suing for breach of contract and emotional distress. Defendant Alton Kirk II, also known as Mr. Two Times, says Brandy promotes her sex appeal on social media, and she brands herself as a freak of nature. So he thought she was the perfect entertainer for his swingers event. But she walked off after 2 songs.
All rise. This court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Greg Mathis presiding. You may now be seated. Start with you.
Okay, yeah. I'm a music artist. I go by Yella Yella, aka the Freak of Nature.
How many songs have you recorded?
I mean, it's a bit of, I like working on an album right now, so it's about 20 songs.
Okay. That you recorded under the stage name Freak of Nature?
Right. Well, Yella Yella. The brand, Yella Yella, the brand is Freak of Nature.
Okay.
The brand is Freak of Nature. I tell them to drop their pants, let me rate you.
Freak of Nature.
Yeah.
Drop your pants and we'll do what?
Rate you.
Rate you, okay. Drop your pants and we'll rate you.
So he contacted my team and booked me for a show. He had a show going on. He booked me for a show. He's aware of what I do. So, you know, he made the deposit. And
what was the agreement?
The agreement was he'd make the deposit for $1,000. And then that's when he'll save the date to get locked in to confirm it. So
when was that to be?
The show was on July the 3rd.
All right. And he was to pay how much at the backside? You're telling me the deposit. What was the balance?
He was supposed to pay the remainder of $2,500 the day of the show.
After the show or before?
The day of the show, right before.
All right.
That was the agreement.
All right. Sir?
Yes, sir.
Let's take me up to this point.
Well, Your Honor, my name is Alton Kirk II. I'm known as Mr. Two Times. I take pride in
What does that mean?
2 times. Well, it extends from me being a second, and it also extends on me just doing the best and doing the most. So we multiply everything we do.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So,
where you guys from?
I'm originally from Houston, Texas. But
That's where you all live? That's where your business? That's where
Houston, California, Atlanta.
Where did this occur?
In Houston.
And that's where you're from?
Texas,
All right. Go ahead.
So, being that...
Talking pretty slick there. I want to know where you're from.
Well, hey, I'm from Houston.
Who taught
Texas.
you the game in Houston?
Well, there's a lot of people that talk about the
Jay
game.
Prince gave you the game. Jay Prince got the top game in Houston. So hopefully he gave it to you. Oh, you done dropped your books and lost your lesson. He the only one to give you some lessons that you can hold on to and you can keep.
Okay, I see. Okay, Your Honor. Okay, Your Honor. Okay, I tell you what,
I mean, you come here and want to kick the game. You say 2 times, 4 times.
Hey, listen, 2 times. It took a village to raise this child and bring this smile.
All right.
I'm gonna keep it very simple because I do take very seriously putting a smile on people's face.
Tell me how you know the young lady and take me up to the agreement. What reputation does her group, if you knew of at all, have? Go ahead.
Well, it's Yella Yella, drop your pants, let me rate you. She's all on Instagram. And I took a liking to what she brought to the table.
What was your understanding of what she did?
Well, she brings sex, provocativity. She brings everything.
Sex? Your understanding was that she brings sex?
Yeah, well, she sells. Okay, well, it looks like she sells sex on Instagram.
How so?
Not sex
Quiet,
itself.
ma'am. How so?
Not sex itself, just a sexy appeal.
Okay, well.
Okay, so her appeal is to be open with your sexuality. Let's just say that. Okay. So
that's a good thing.
With me believing in self-expression. And, I don't hold anything against anybody. I thought it'd be nice to have a party called Swing to Your Nature, or the Freak of Nature. The party was going well.
What was the agreement?
Well, the agreement was very simple. I was understanding that she was going to do 5 to 6 songs, what her management team told me. She's going to show out, do her thing, and perform, and bring smiles to the swingers community.
For how much?
For how much? I think $3,500 total, $1,000 down payment. I went ahead and started promoting the party. What I noticed is that there was not one promotion coming from her page. So that was the first.
Did you ask her to?
Oh, I
You
can't
would have
speak.
expected her to, but did you ask her
I
to
spoke to
post
the
it?
management team. You can't speak to the artist, the yellow. You know how that goes with the artists. You know, you got to speak to their representatives.
Well, that's the big time, was people speak to me. But
And I
I'm
appreciate
not
your
that
presence,
big,
Your Honor.
Yeah, people.
Yes, I thank you for speaking to me too, by the way. Yes, sir.
And no, I say that to say because that is real. People are surprised that I deal with people directly.
I wouldn't be here today if she took that attitude on, Your Honor.
It was 5 or 6 songs for how many people?
Well, it was about a good 150, 100.
Oh, okay. What type of venue?
It was a swingers party, Your Honor.
And I wasn't aware of that.
I told the management team it was a swing by nature party. She's a freak of nature. What kind of party am I going to bring to her?
No. Can I speak, please?
I'm trying to digest this.
Please. Can I tell you what happened?
I bring
I
the
see
party.
what he's even saying.
I bring the parties from the people. See, like I said, I believe in self-expression. I don't care if it was a gay party, straight party, a swingers party. I want everybody to be happy and party. It is time to take your mind off the stress and the BS that you go through the day. So I take pride in making sure we bring that to the table.
You all have to be freaking off as you watch it.
Well, no, they can do what they want. You know, a room full of freaks for the freak of nature. They can do whatever they want, Your Honor. As long as it's according to
Because that's what
respective
swinging
boundaries.
is. Swinging is freaking off.
No.
Couples
Yeah, having
freaking off
fun,
with each other.
feeling
No.
free to
Or having
express.
sexual encounters, or you have couples making love to
Absolutely.
each other.
Yes,
Is
sir.
what the swinging is.
Yes.
All right.
Yes. Okay, I see it. Okay, Your Honor. Okay, Your Honor. Okay, I tell you what, you know.
I mean, you come here and want to kick the game. You say 2 times, 4 times.
Hey, listen, you know, 2 times. It took a village to raise this child and bring this smile.
All right.
Plaintiff Brandy Siggers, a.k.a. Yella Yella, was hired to perform at the defendant's party. But she had no idea it was a swingers party, and the guests would be wearing nothing but a COVID mask.
So you were brought in, he says, to
I-
watch couples make love with
No,
each
that's
other.
not-
To sing for couples. Well, you got to watch while you sing. Yeah. Making love to each other.
That wasn't an agreement at all.
Tell me what you interpreted.
He booked me for a show, so we got to the show. You know, he didn't have the money. The agreement was to make the money up front. There's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of chaos, a lot of, runarounds. I'm a professional person. I like to, I have fans. I like to entertain them. So, he was like, he's going to take care of it, the back end as soon as we get over with. So I like to compromise with them, I didn't want to argue with them.
Yeah.
I didn't want to compromise, so I was compromising. Went on head in. As soon as I walked in, everybody in there had absolutely no clothes on with a COVID mask on. So that just threw
He stay safe.
right.
That way.
I didn't see I was doing anything wrong, Your Honor.
Everybody was naked, though, seriously.
Right.
Well, I mean, most
No
of them,
clothes
the
on.
ones that chose to be naked, they chose to be naked and have fun. It's a freedom of
That's
expression.
not what I signed up for. He had absolutely no clothes on. The flyer that was out, if you look on page 2, just was saying he was just like performing her hit songs, and there was 2 songs that he has posted on here, and and then he said shots for all the mothers. I'm thinking it's an event that I usually do. I usually do like regular events for people. So, and then when I walk into this,
Yeah, you even referring to mothers, almost
Right.
like this is a Mother's Day event.
and when I get in there, it's a complete what I expected. Doing the most with people. I put out the freak of nature, but that was a different type of freak.
What's this? You got a song called Bend Me Over?
Right.
You
Bend
do
Me
whatever
Over.
you think is most provocative. That's what seems to
Well,
work
it's
these days
entertaining.
for the millennial crowds. I don't pass judgment. I give judgment when I'm in here, but I don't pass judgment on what folks do. I ain't no saint.
We all fall short. It's okay.
Yeah, and so I say that to say we all have our flaws.
Yes, we do.
If you catch me smoking weed or something, that's my wife. You just think it's me.
That's right.
That's her. But being a judge, well, it's legal, but it's immoral. I don't know. It ain't immoral either. All right, so that's what I want to say about you all do your thing. Strip clubs are the clubs. When I hear these young people say, I'm going to the club, I'm thinking they're going to the discos. Or not discos.
No,
I know they're not discos.
No, sir.
Big clubs. And then now they're talking about strip club. Strip club is the club
It's the
now.
club.
Am I right
Yes,
or
sir.
not?
Right.
You get
When
some of
you
the
say
best
I'm-
food from the strip club.
Huh?
Some of the best food is from the strip club.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. That's what the deal is now, and I'm keeping up. So when y'all get on here and y'all start telling me stuff, I know what you're talking about. My kids laugh at me because I know more than them about millennial lifestyles. So when you came in there and you saw these people naked, what percent were naked?
It was 90%. The people other people that wasn't, they was like doing little security. So that's why they had clothes on. But he had clothes on, so, you know.
I present a show, sir.
So when you walked out on the stage, thinking what did he tell you? You were going to be businessmen or mothers? Yeah, he told you you were going to be mothers there.
Shout out to
you
all
thought you were going to see mothers dressed up in their white and big hats.
Yeah,
Expect to see men coming in looking like deacons,
right,
accompanying their wives.
Well, no, I didn't expect to see them, looking like deacons because I know my type of fans, but I didn't expect them to be absolutely naked.
Yeah.
You know, that's I
and you admit to that.
Well, I mean, Judge, it's like you said. When you're doing something to sell records, and I'm going to have the impression that this is what the people want and what they want to see and hear. So what I did is I brought the proper party for Miss Yella Yella.
I'm not.
And
even
I thought
into
I thought it wouldn't be a problem.
No, it's not. That sounds degrading and offensive to a recording artist who is building a career. I never heard of a recording artist had to go to a swinging party where everybody's naked in order to build their career.
Well, Judge, like I said, I mean, she's the freak of nature. I brought a room full of freaks.
See?
I didn't think it'd be a problem.
That's by your name. See, you all hold yourself out like that, and he can do that.
I didn't think it was a problem because everybody respected everybody. It was a rope around the stage.
And a brand, but we don't get completely naked. I don't say drop your bra. Yeah, I don't say drop.
I got you,
but
I'm
say
just
drop
saying.
your pants. Let me rate you.
Drop your pants and let me
and
rate
then when I come
when
out,
they walked in, everybody knew about your song.
Drop their pants and let her rate her.
When I came out,
you walked in, everybody knew about your song and they wanted to get rated.
I don't see nothing wrong with it.
They just left the pants in the car.
Great promotion, y'all. I'm thinking it's great promotion.
pants in the car.
Now, this doesn't say, sir, anything about that the people there were going to be nude.
Well, see,
everybody at this party was going to be nude.
Well, see, everybody ain't a swinger, Your Honor. So,
they were all nude, and you allowed them to be, and you knew you had hired her, and you had not informed her that you were having her perform in front of a nude audience.
Well, okay.
You got 100 people and 90 of them walking around nude, and you want her to sing.
I just wanted to perform. I don't want to touch nobody, do any acts. I just wanted to sing a song.
I didn't want to freeze up or nothing. I was in shock, so I went on ahead and continued with it being professional.
You actually did? You didn't walk off immediately?
Well, I did. I did. I actually,
I'm just imagining it.
Well, I did
quiet. Let me hear this.
I come out through the back. We come through the back. I got on the stage. I see the people. I'm like, in my head, like, what is going on? But then he actually had the nerve to have cages. And they had people performing activities with each other.
So you're trying to be professional.
Right. I'm keeping it professional. So I went on ahead and I got into the second song and people just wild and going crazy. So I was completely done with it and I left after the 2 songs because I did the songs that he had on the flyer and he was expecting more, but I had to get out of there.
Your Honor, have you ever? I don't know if you ever been to a swingers party, Your Honor.
No.
Okay.
And the pH balance was way off. The smell and everything, it was just off in there.
Your Honor, she could have performed maybe a song and a half, but when I started smoking a cigarette, the show was over. I came back inside. As I came back inside, she was walking down the steps and the stairs. So of course my people, that was having fun, asked me, hey, two time. I said, hey, what's going on? I thought she was gonna perform. Like, what's going on? Why is she leaving? I said, let me get back with you and find out. So as I tried to, of course, attempt to speak to Miss Yella Yella again, I can't talk to her. I had to talk to her team. They were really disrespectful, to be honest with you, because of course I understand they want their money, but the deal was not fulfilled.
I don't pass judgment. I give judgment when I'm in the air, but I don't pass judgment on what folks do. I ain't no saint.
We all fall short. It's okay.
Yeah, and so I say that to say we all have our flaws.
Yes, we do.
If you catch me smoking weed or something, that's my wife. You just think it's me.
That's right.
That's her.
Plaintiff Brandy Siggers, a.k.a. Yella Yella, was hired to perform at the defendant's party. But she had no idea it was a swingers party and the guests would be wearing nothing but a COVID mask.
Misrepresentation. You misrepresented to
How?
her what her job was going to be, or failure to disclose the most material fact.
That she's a
You
freak of
failed
nature?
to disclose the most important fact about her performance. And in this case, the most important thing was that when you come, everybody gonna be naked. You get her up there. She's professional enough to do too. She went as far as she could, and she said, "I just can't take it no more," and walked off.
It had to be
Rightfully
1.5. It wasn't even
$5,000 is your judgment. Continued success to you. He misled you, misrepresented the nature of the party, and had you come there and be shocked, traumatized, suffer emotional distress, and to top it all off, wouldn't even pay you. If you're gonna pimp, bye. Judgment for the plaintiff.
He's a janky promoter. That's why, they win and he lost. Give him my money.
She's the freak of nature. I brought in a room full of freaks.
That's why
I don't see what the problem was.
Plaintiff Ruth Hill Roundtree and her husband Jim say the defendant is married to Jim's son, but they've been separated for 2 years. Ruth says after the defendant was arrested for assault, she loaned her $4,000, but she has yet to be repaid, so she's suing. Defendant Ariel Roundtree says the plaintiffs are good people, but Jim's son was verbally abusive throughout their marriage, and now that they're separated, he rarely sees their children.
Start with you all. Give me some background here.
Ariel is married to my stepson, and they've been separated now for, I want to say, about 2 years. My husband and I, Jim, do not want to get involved in their drama. Our only concern is our 2 grandsons.
When they were married, did things go right?
Yes, they had a pretty good marriage to start out with. Things started to go south later on. For 9 years, he's been retired. He has been the kids can't go to school sick, the pick me up here and there, drop me off here, do this, do that, play on the video games with the kids. I mean, this is Pop of the Rainbow. Have you ever seen that YouTube video where the grandparents pull up to the kid's house and the grandma gets out of the car and she's standing there on the lawn on her knees with her arms open so she can embrace her grandchild, and the grandchild runs right around her and goes to the papa. And which he is an amazing man. But like I said,
that's what happens to me. That's what happens to me.
I believe it.
Give me some background, ma'am, on your relationship with your in-laws.
It started probably about 8 to 10 years ago when I met James, their son, or Jim's son. My mom was moving out of state, so we wound up moving with, and then I wound up coming back, and we stayed with Jim and Ruthie for a short period of time. They helped us get jobs at the post office. They're right when they say they're not nosy. They don't stick their nose where it doesn't belong, and they're always there. They're great people. My marriage with Jimmy.
Tell him your son hit me and see how he reacts then. He's not going to say, well, I'm stay out of it. He's going to say, boy, I know you didn't hit that woman.
Oh, no. James was verbally abusive, not physically. He worked with his mouth, not his hands. He knew better.
Tell Daddy, and he'll talk to him about that, too. They'll interfere when they need to, right, Pops?
No, he said, that's Jimmy. I'll talk to him. And then that was about it.
Well, he probably talked to him.
Ariel is married to my stepson, and they've been separated now for, I want to say, about 2 years. My husband and I, Jim, do not want to get involved in their drama. Our only concern is our 2 grandsons.
When they were married, did things go right?
They had a pretty good marriage to start out with. Things started to go south later on.
Defendant Ariel Roundtree is separated from the plaintiff's son, but she claims he was verbally abusive throughout their marriage. And now he rarely sees their children.
So they don't butt in, you say, and what else?
Things went up and down for a bit. We lived with them off and on. We had to borrow money off and on. We did our best to pay it back. I wound up marrying James about 6 months after knowing him, and then things started going south. I had been a student at Stetson for biochemistry when I first met him, and then I dropped out of school on my own behalf. And I had 2 kids, and finances became unstable, and then we couldn't keep a home, and this, that, and the other, and started a big drama fest here. And after about 8 years, I couldn't take it anymore. It had become toxic. We were better off as friends, but he couldn't see it as friends. And I wound up leaving him. And I started paying off past debts, and I tried working with James, asking him, instead of focusing on trying to fix a marriage, why don't you do what Jim and Ruthie do, or what normal parents do? Why don't you try to see your kids? Just call them and say goodnight. Just pick them up to go to the park and all. And at that time, correct me if I'm wrong, Jim and Ruthie, I was bringing them out to you guys. We would play in your backyard. They'd come over for popsicles, even during COVID.
You said something there. Why won't he be a father to the children?
I don't know. I've tried. I've said, call them before bedtime. Let's show up to the park. Have them for a weekend, and it's either he's working or he's doing this or he's doing that. And I'm not trying to be rude, Your Honor, but in the past year, I've worked either 60 hours a week between 2 jobs or 50 hours a week at 1 job, and I still make time for my kids. He doesn't help buy school clothes or supplies or even come to see their matches for judo and taekwondo. I fork out $170 a week for after school daycare. I make sure all my bills are as close to on time as possible. And I never leave them stranded. If I can do that, if I can do it by myself, then I don't see how hard it is to pick up a phone. But it's always a, hey, when are we getting back together? Hey, I'm going to leave my girlfriend. Why don't you leave the guy you're with? Or, hey, I still love you. When can I have my family back? It's not, how are they doing in school, or how tall are they getting? It's a 5-minute conversation, and then it's back to the same old stuff.
Let me ask you, Mr. and Mrs. Roundtree, does Ariel typically have the same facial expressions that she has today? Can you see her?
Pretty much.
She does?
But Your Honor.
No. I'm asking you a question for a reason. Does she usually have that appearance in her face? She has an appearance of distress. Yeah. She looks like she's in distress. Does she always look like that? Or is this the result of your son's negligence and lack of support, as she says? Because she looks very distressed and abandoned. That's what I'm getting from her. And it is damaging these grandchildren you love so dearly. Your son is damaging them based on the lack of support and attention their mother is begging your son to give. So let me hear about your love again for the grandkids.
The grandchildren are the reason we're here today, Your Honor. Ariel got in trouble for domestic violence and was at the place where she was living. And she was, as a result, she was jailed. And then the person she was living with, of course, didn't want her there anymore, so she was kicked out. She was homeless. Our grandchildren were homeless. She came to us asking for help. So we loaned her.
Went to your son first.
I
went to Jimmy first.
There's 2 sides to every story, Judge Mathis.
I'm listening. Go ahead.
Jimmy has stated time and time again that he has wanted to come and pick up his children.
And that wouldn't allow it.
And she would not allow it. They were either busy doing something, they were, off in whatever world that they were in.
It wasn't all the time, Ruthie. He asked like once every 6 months, and he'd give me less than 24-hour notice. If you want to see them, say like at the beginning of a week, hey, it's summer break. I'd like to have my kids, and I'll do it. And by the way, when he picks them up the last time and he drops them off at your house to where Jim has to call me and say, hey, did Jimmy let you know that he dropped off your kids? When the last thing he says to me is good luck finding them. Am I supposed to be comfortable with them going over there for long periods of time?
I know you don't. So this is what I suggest. She just said your grandchildren are suffering. Now it's worth you finding out if that's the case or not. So there's a way to talk to them to find out how they feel emotionally right now. Because what she described, and if she's looking like this around those children frequently, then they're being damaged. If my mother was looking like this all the time, in distress.
I don't. I hide it from them. Oh, God, I hide it from them so bad.
Okay, good. Because I would be like, what's wrong, Mommy? What's wrong, Mommy? What's wrong, Mommy? And if Dad had been in the house and he's no longer in the picture ever, then call your son. Hey, just talk to the kids. Say they don't see you. They say this and that and the other. What's up? That's what I suggest.
Defendant Ariel Roundtree is separated from the plaintiff's son, but she claims he was verbally abusive throughout their marriage. And now he rarely sees their children.
Now we can get to the $4,000 and tell me how she owes for that.
Well, like my husband stated earlier, she was living with a family member, and she had gotten arrested for domestic violence battery against that family member. It left her and our grandchildren homeless. Then she came to us for help, and we told her that we could loan her $4,000 to get her and the grandkids settled and straighten out all the mess that she was in, with the stipulation that she paid us back. And in December of 2020, she and my husband were texting, and she said that she would be filing her income tax in January, that she would be paying us back. Well, after that, we did not hear from her until April, when we called. We had both gotten our vaccines and we were both immunized, so we were able to see the children because we missed them. We haven't seen them since December. Since Christmas, it had been since we saw them.
What did she say she needed the money for?
For an apartment.
Apartment. She also stated that.
Hold on, ma'am. Let's stop there. Your son couldn't help. He couldn't put a roof over his children's head.
No, son. No, Your Honor. He was not in a position to do that.
What position was he in?
He was.
He couldn't borrow from y'all. Y'all loan it to her. Why wouldn't you loan it to your own blood son?
Because I didn't loan it for her. We loaned it to her because she had the children. And
you sound crazy.
Your Honor.
You sound crazy. Ma'am, what's the status right now of your relationship with their son?
I haven't talked to him in a long time.
All right. I do not believe that it was a loan. So I'm going to have to dismiss your claim. Case dismissed.
It's all about the grandkids. You know, that's all I care about, basically. First and last, it's my grandkids.
Call them, please. Don't expect us to see them. Like, they ask about you guys all the time. Call them. Aiden just got 100 on his sight words. That's 25 words the kid was having a hard time reading. James is up for his third yellow stripe. Call them.
Plaintiff Bessie Thornton says after her brother passed away in 1996, she discovered that he had a son who was in foster care. Bessie was unable to connect with him at that time, but years later the defendant reached out and claimed that he was her brother's child. So she petitioned the court for a DNA test. Defendant LeBron Wilson says he was raised in foster care from the age of 3 to 13, at which point he was placed in a group home. LeBron truly believes that he and Bessie are blood related and that today's DNA test is nothing more than a formality.
All right, and ma'am, you're here, and sir, because you all have petitioned the court for a DNA test. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yes, sir.
And determination is whether you're the aunt. Is that it?
That is correct.
All right, whether you're LeBron's aunt. All right, good. Let me start with you with some background.
Well, I was born and raised in Toccoa, Georgia. I have a sister that's living, and my brother, Johnny Walker, is deceased. When my brother passed in 1996, we went back to take care of his burial arrangements. And at that particular time, we were informed that Johnny had a son and that he was in foster care. And they gave us the name of the foster mother, and we went to her home
When you say informed, informed by who?
I think a relative or something. It's been a minute. I can't remember exactly who.
Okay.
Is the person that
I was just
informed us,
curious
sir.
who held it and left him in foster care, and they knew all the time. Go ahead.
Yes.
They're gonna wait until the daddy died and start gossiping now. Why you couldn't come forth before? Why you couldn't come with that information before? So that the young man could have met and been with his daddy before. You're gonna wait until he die, if this is the case, and then come with the gossip.
Defendant LeBron Wilson believes the plaintiff's deceased brother is his biological father. So he took a DNA test today to find out the truth once and for all.
Go ahead. Then you all did what?
We went to see him. And unfortunately, the foster mother would not allow us to see him, nor would she tell us what his name was. So, we were there to bury our brother and sort of put it on the back burner. But we always wondered and talked about that between the two of us. So, time passed on, and this September, I got a Facebook request from a LeBron, the Southpaw Wilson. I said, I don't know who this person is, but something in my spirit said, go ahead and accept his Facebook request. So I did, and immediately LeBron reached back to me to say, I don't want anything from you, but we may be related. Your brother may be my dad. And we began a dialogue. And just as I told you, I said the same thing to LeBron. That's why his foster mother would not allow us to meet him. And if we had known this, my sister and I, we would have definitely, tried to.
Yeah, well, somebody knew, whoever that was that started it after, when it was too late. Let me hear from you, young man.
All right, Judge. I guess it's going to, from the beginning, from my side of things. I was born in Toccoa, Georgia. I was in a foster home from the ages of 3 years old until 13.
How many? Just one or same one?
Same home, yes, sir.
Good. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. My foster mother at the time, I had two sisters, and she took all three of us in at the time. And,
good.
She raised us like we was her own and whatnot. She had a husband. Excellent. She worked, he worked. I had a decent upbringing. So around the time I was around 12 or 13, she decided she wanted to move to South Carolina to be closer to family and stuff. So my caseworker let me move with her. So around that time, I was starting to be a typical teenage kid, started talking back. And I tell her one day, I no longer want to be there. So she said, okay. So she calls my caseworker, and then they come and grab me and bring me to a group home in Lithonia, Georgia in 1999. So I'm around 13 years old around that time. And I was only supposed to be there for about 6 months, but my caseworker comes back in those 6 months and say, you got to stay until you're 18. So I never knew why. So at that time, I just had to adapt to the situation. I learned a few things, grew up real quick. So I finished school. I graduated high school. I played sports. I was a good swimmer, played football and everything. Good. And I had a pretty decent teenage years as well. So you fast forward to my 20s. Now I'm in a independent living program. The state set me up with an apartment, taught me how to manage bills and everything and so forth. When I graduated high school, my sisters, they found where I was, and they came to see me at the group home. So I started rebuilding that relationship with them because they were put into a group home as well before I was. So we were split up. And
what happened
they found
to them?
out
why did they leave the foster mother?
Foster mother. I reckon they was just being unruly and being
want to
girls,
be rebellious too. Go ahead.
Yeah. And I'm the youngest of the three of those. But like I said, I graduated high school.
Good.
They find out where I was and come and visit me. So around that time, they started to tell me about my biological birth parents. And they was like, yeah, you should meet them. Your mother, your grandmother, they're still living. And we can find out, what happened with us while we were taken away from them. So I started, as of 2005, I've been building a relationship with my mother and my grandmother. And I got a little bit of the situation as to why we were taken away, but not all of it. So at this point, I'm just letting it be. I'm grown now, and it is what it is.
Right, who cares? All right.
Yes, sir.
Defendant LeBron Wilson believes the plaintiff's deceased brother is his biological father. So he took a DNA test today to find out the truth once and for all.
Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Like my aunt said, I reached out to her as early latest around September. After I got some information from my biological mother, she told me that I had an auntie and her name was Greta. So, I decide, I go on Facebook, I go do my research and I type in the name and I see it pops up and she's from Toccoa, Georgia as well. So I'm thinking to myself, hey, it's not a coincidence. Not too many people from that little town. So I go down the page and I see my auntie Bessie Ann and the relatives situation. And I reach out to both of them. I send a message to both. Like she said, I was like, hey, my name is LeBron Wilson. You guys don't know me. I don't want anything, but I'm thinking we may be related. I plead my case, and Bessie Ann, she was the first person to reach back out to me. And she kind of, we went on, and she was like, well, tell me about yourself and where you come from and whatnot. So she's starting to believe me a little bit. So this is kind of, I believe, just a formality. I believe we're blood related, and I'm just waiting to see. I was raised in a family, even though it wasn't biological. I had a decent upbringing, so I'm big on family. And 5 years ago, my two sisters, they died tragically in a car crash. So I'm all about that now. Life is short. I'm raising my little nephew now, my older sister's son, and I'm just trying to, just get to know my blood. That's all.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we have some good news after hearing that last part. I'm so sorry to hear that after the struggle that the three of you had together coming up. And then that to happen. Well, you got good news today. You are related. She is your aunt. All right. Take care. Congratulations to you guys. Goodbye.
Thank you. Oh, honey. I knew it.
Wow. Thank you, Judge. We appreciate it.
Woo.
Yes, it's good to know. Like I said, I'm big on family, and if I had something out there, it's no time for me to get to know them. So
yes. Oh, I love you so much. Oh, Johnny would be so proud of you.
Yes, I wish I could have met my pop.
Yeah, me too.
Looking good.
Just can't wait to meet you in person.
You too. Looking good.
Thank you so much for all your help. Thank you.